Okay, hello guys, my name is Chris and welcome to the first video on the channel North Wales Makers. I'm starting this video today with a tour of my office and workshop. I think there's no better way to get to know someone than to see their half-finished projects, their tools, just their various proclivities, I guess is a good way to put it. But first I want to talk about the channel and what my aims are for this channel. So as I said, North Wales Makers, I live in North Wales, first bit's fairly obvious. And I'm a maker. I make things, be it radio, woodworking, remote control, software. I always have and I probably always will. And I love YouTube. I love watching, Adam Savage Tested, Zyla Foxlin, BPS Space, all those guys. I absolutely love them. Colin Furs, obviously, from my neck of the woods growing up. And I wanted to contribute. I think it's a really important skill for people to learn how to make. I think it's very easy to say nowadays that a lot of people are falling out of touch with practical skills. Not everyone, but I do think there is a general kind of reticence of people to want to get their hands dirty, to take things apart, to potentially break things or maybe even hurt themselves. And I think in some ways that's good, but I also think it's a skill which we don't want to die out. For example, the biggest fight against planned obsolescence is the ability to identify it, to take an object apart and see where it's designed to break or where it could be made to last longer. You'll see as we look around my stuff, I have a lot of old stuff I've inherited from my granddad or I bought, or I love old stuff, I love trying to fix old stuff, and some of it's a waste of time. Some of it's not worth the money to fix. I still do, but it's not always worth it. But anyway, that's what I want to hope to achieve from this channel, is a way to inspire people, to teach people, and to show my mistakes. I'm not going to be doing a lot of editing. It's not what I perceive to be a valuable use of my time, though I very much appreciate people who do a lot of editing themselves. It's just going to be a way for me to show you guys how I process and how I approach making. So we'll start off with a tour of my office. I spent about 2 hours tidying beforehand. Still not tidy, but it's a lot tidier than it was. And then we'll do a tour of my very, very small but very, very full workshop. So thanks guys, and if you like the sound of it, please hit subscribe. Hopefully we're gonna have a lot of good videos, and today you'll see a lot of projects which will be coming up. So let's get on with the tour. Okay, we're gonna start off here with my modular synth build from Look Mum No Computer from Sam down in Margate, Margate or Ramsgate, one of the two. This is a modular synth. The easiest way for me to describe it quickly is it's like a keyboard without the keyboards. So makes all the sounds, but it doesn't have the keys, but obviously you can plug stuff into it to control it that way. This is one of my older projects, and as you can see, it hasn't had a lot of love recently. So I built the box myself. So the box is self-built by me, you can tell, because it's a bit of a mess. I made the leather strap myself as well. It doesn't always work quite right, but there we go. One of my first kind of completed woodworking builds as well. It's not great, but it is built by me, which is, the goal of the project. This is the voltage controlled oscillator, again from No Computers. It's just about done. These are the things we need, so a couple of potentiometers or adjustable resistors, I can't remember what they're called. Arduino Nano, a couple more jacks, a 8-segment display for here, and this guy, the LM40408IZ, which I can't quite remember what it is, but we can find out. The goal will be to have this whole thing filled up with these panels, and then I'd like to try and make some music. I have an interest in like randomly generated algorithmic ambient music, but that's a conversation for another day, I suspect. That's my modular synth. Let's move on around here. Another little project we've got going here is, get that framed nicely. So this is, let me crash down on the floor here. This is a bike frame. It's actually a full bike I inherited from my partner's granddad after he passed away, sadly. This is a good example, as I was talking about in the intro. This is not a valuable frame. I think it's not rally at some point. It's not overly old, it's extremely heavy, and the components aren't great. But I want to restore it. I want to get it riding again. Kind of fairly obvious that it needs a set of wheels. This crank is stuck on, so I actually need to probably work out some way of getting this crank off. I might just cut it off. Some new cranks, new pedals. I'm going to have it as a single speed, maybe even a fixed gear, and then just a front brake on it. And obviously it needs a saddle, because sitting on that wouldn't be very nice. I actually made the stand it's on myself, so you can, let me take the frame off on. Oh, it's so nice having a tidy office, let me tell you that. So yeah, made this frame myself. itself. Simple plywood, some actual climbers tape in here just to soften it off. Saw something online, thought it'd be fun to do. Came out right, not too bad. Let's bring you over here. Now I've got a bike frame in the way that can go back on. Yeah. Let's come over here. This is my radio area. Let's get right in close here. So I am a licensed amateur radio user. Passed my intermediate license probably a few months ago. When I first moved to Wales, it was something I was quite interested in, something my granddad used to do, and not as an amateur, but actually in the military. And just thought it'd be a good way to meet people. Like inherently, you don't speak to yourself on the radio for the most part. So this is the gear I've got so far. As you can see, I've got a couple of beautiful old oscilloscopes here. Got the Leader LBO 522 and a Hameg HM2035. I don't actually use these yet. I picked them both up super cheap. They were going to kind of go to trash, and I think they're really beautiful pieces of equipment, and I'm sure there'll be some use for them as I get more and more into electronics. These are my two oscilloscopes. They're both working seemingly. Certainly they both plug in and light up, so that's a kind of a good sign. This radio here is my pride and joy. Let me zoom in. It's my Trio TS780. This is from, I think, the early mid-80s. It's a 2 meter and 70 centimeter radio, so VHF and UHF. And I think it's beautiful. To me, when I got into radio, this is kind of what radio looked like to me. You know, the big dials and the beautiful little meter down here and everything. And it is on, so hopefully no one jumps in and says anything particularly rude. I got an amazing deal on this, really happy with it. It needs a little bit of work. This tuning knob is not perfect. I don't know how much you can see, but it doesn't work particularly well. Luckily I can use the fist mic to adjust it. So it is a usable radio and I do use it regularly. It sounds incredible, really great. To show you guys like the equivalent modern-ish radio, this little guy here is another 2 and 70 radio, VHF, UHF. Kind of does the same thing as this and does more, but it just doesn't look the same to me. I've got a couple of power supplies up here as well for running my radios. I've got a nice little wide, what's it called? Wide range oscillator from Venner Electronics, which I picked up super cheap again, like £5 or something. Really good for just making random tones. Probably need some work as well, need some recapping or whatever. These are my radios. I spend a lot of time doing this. I have a lot of friends in North Wales. I don't do a ton of projects on radio. I do some little stuff. I do a lot of plane tracking, stuff like that. But yeah, something I love doing. See my iMac behind me as well. No longer running Mac. It's got Linux on it and the screen's broken, but another project for the day. What's next? Let's come around this way. This is a fun little thing actually, talking about radio. This is oh, I'm going to tip you down. I'm just borrowing it for a friend just to get it set up. This is a Doppler direction finder. So you plug a radio in and it uses these 4 antennas on each corner to try and direction find where the signal is coming from. You have a heading in degrees box here. It's a fun little thing. I don't fully understand how it works, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's by the by. It's just sat on the floor because it's going back fairly soon. Okay, my mic's not working there, so we're going to switch to a GoPro mic. Hopefully the audio is not too bad. It's quite an echoey room. We're just using a concrete floor at the minute. So, you can see some flooring ready to go in there, but I need some more, which is on order. It's kind of a life of a maker. There's always projects to be working on at some point. But anyway, working my way around, something new I've been getting into, so remote control. Super fun. Got some big old lithium polymer batteries. This is my first ever, let me bring it around here. Well, let me put it on this chair actually. So this is my first ever remote control project. This was just purely for learning. As you can see, it's kind of like a sled, let's say. Big old antenna, a brushless motor, servo to control a rudder at the back there, speed controller there. Really enjoying remote control. Kind of got into it after watching a lot of Peter Schreipol and who else? Flight Test, Project Air, all those kind of guys. So another thing to look out on the channel. I would love to build a remote control plane sometime or stuff like that. So another direction that the channel could potentially go in. Down here we can see my my pile. This is my lovely old, I don't want that on there. It's my lovely old beige box there. Down here runs XP. It's great for some old video games. Oh God, no, you fell over. And then a couple of slightly newer boxes, which I'm not really using at the minute, but something to do. And then on my tubs, we got electronics, camera equipment, cables down there. My little server cupboard for the time being, running a Raspberry Pi with Pi-hole, little basic switch and some home automation stuff. Another project I'd like to work on at some point is home automation and home network. Just basically setting up a full network, getting some more commercial grade equipment in and that kind of stuff. What else can we see? It's my plant wall. My partner is an avid gardener, so got some lovely Monstera, Neon Pathos, some other stuff there which I don't know what it is, so I love having them in the office. This is the desk. So by day I am a DevOps engineer. That's what I do for a living. Been programming basically all my life. I've been around with computers as long as I've had one, and yeah, finally pays for itself, which is nice. So yeah, kind of classic desk. It's a bit messy, I say. It's a lot tidier than it was. You see also I've got a lot of flight sim gear. I'm a flight sim guy, so I've got joysticks hiding away down there somewhere, some pedals on the floor. Another thing that I'm into, flight sims. You may not see a lot of that on my channel really, but yeah, just another thing that we like to do. And that's probably about it for the office really. So I might talk about the plan for the office quickly. So we're going to be doing a lot of work in the office at the minute. If I come over into this corner where it gets very dark. So my plan is to build a full desk that comes from here all the way around to there, all the way around to there. It's going to be a series of like cabinets, kitchen style. So a double, maybe another double and a single there. So it's going to give me a lot more storage for the office. It's also going to give me about 6 meters of desk space, which is going to be amazing. So that's going to be one of the big projects on the channel fairly soon, will be all of those being built, because that's going to happen quite soon when I do the flooring as well, and hopefully make this office a lot more usable, because space is at a premium right now. But anyway, that's the office. I think I showed pretty much most things. There's a lot of things hidden away, as you can imagine. But now we'll head over to the workshop. Okay, so here we are in the workshop, and I've got to say it's not the warmest day ever today. It's raining outside. I want to show you outside, obviously, because you guys will see where I live. So I'd rather avoid, but yeah, I'll show you around the workshop. As you can see, it's pretty tiny. It's about the size of a single car garage with a corner cut off. We're missing this whole corner, which is annoying, so I have even less space. But I'll show you the basic tools. This is my Charmwood table saw, Charmwood W650. This thing changed my life when I bought it. Absolutely love it. Having a good table saw with a sliding carriage just makes life so much easier. This is my beautiful old Schoberg work table, inherited from my granddad. Again, love this thing, just classic woodworking table. See some tools inherited there. I've got a beautiful roll of chisels. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Just various shells and all sorts. This is my radial arm saw. This thing is absolutely terrifying. You can't see it too well at the minute because it's being used for storage. Got to try not to use it too much. From Sears Craftsman. Love to restore this, put a new table on it, make it all nice and usable again, but it's pretty scary. It's a terrifying thing. My radial arm saw as well. Another thing that needs repairing. Let's just open this. Can you see? Yeah, just about. Oh, maybe not. Is this a screw open? Maybe. Yeah, this thing, the tyre broke, so I need to replace that. But yeah, nice bandsaw. We come around here, we've got our Axminster lathe. Another thing I inherited from my granddad, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. I was happy to hopefully continue loving and using his tools. As I said, it's very important to me that things like that are passed down and used. All sorts of his old hammers and stuff. A lot of his tools here are from him. So, and we've got a beautiful jointer planer there. Again, buried under my my log supply there, my wood supply. I have a lot of plans for in here. Try and get into like a slightly nicer light here. I have a lot of plans in here. One of the big things we're going to start doing, actually, if I show you here, the roof is kind of leaking and falling in. That's probably going to be my next big project, which I'm going to be filming, hopefully, is I'm going to be doing the roof myself. So tearing off the old roof and putting some new boards down, and I think we're going to use corrugations. So that's going to be a big project coming up very soon, and hopefully on my channel. Another little project we're going to be doing actually is, you can see this wood here. This is to build a cajon, which is a drum you sit on and play. I built one for my father-in-law for Christmas, and had so much fun with it, I want to build one myself. So that's another project we'll see on the channel fairly soon. Another exciting thing is building a boat. I have an 8-foot dinghy outside, which I built using a stitch and glue method. It needs finishing, so it needs sanding, painting, and it needs a seat. Yeah, so that's probably another project, maybe towards springtime. What else have we got? So much. These doors need redoing, so I'm going to do that at some point. I want to build a big French cleat storage system along this wall here. This back door needs redoing as well. All sorts, really. But yeah, that's probably me. Let me find a nice place for the light. This is the channel. Yeah, this is what we're going to be doing. Building projects, some big, some small, some woodworking, some electronics, some music, biking, boating, just all sorts really. Just anything that kind of takes my fancy, and hopefully when you guys kind of start watching and we start to get some viewers, whatever takes your fancy. I want this to be a journey. There's a reason why we're called North Wales Makers, not North Wales Maker. I do want to kind of slowly build up a community, hopefully of people in North Wales, but also people further afield, obviously. And yeah, Skillshare. That's, I think, a key thing for me. I want to learn from you guys as much as you guys learn from me. So in any of these videos, if you see anything I'm doing wrong, I could be doing better, any opinions you have, anything really, please let me know in the comments. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. As I said, my name's Chris. The channel is North Wales Makers. If you're excited about some of these projects and you want to know more, please do subscribe, and I'm going to try and do videos semi-regularly. Obviously, the nature of making videos is they can't be done that regularly because I just haven't got that much money to make stuff with. But yeah, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon for the first video where you get to see me use tools. So thank you very much, and goodbye.